about six months, more or less?
No, I mean, if we do June, I mean, by end of just June, July, August, September, about 4 months.
4 months.
So the process is gonna take 4 months.
Give or take, yeah.
Can you explain, Jeremiah, what procedure you want, the sprigs, how it would work?
Yeah, so basically what we're gonna do is, we'll go down, take out the existing green, probably go down to a base layer, fill that in, then, Fusion Golf will sculpt, if you will, the greens to the original undulations or to the slopes that it has now. Then we'll go ahead and bring in, the sprigs. We'll install that, and it's just water, 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 water. And speak it.
So you're just correcting it, sorry, you're just correcting everything out and then just putting the
Right.
new roots, let's say.
Exactly.
That was gonna be my question or comment, Jeremiah. If you could just explain a little bit about what a sprig actually is.
So think of, best explanation is when you buy grass for your house, you go and you buy those squares, that's your sod, right? If you were to take a piece of that, just kind of like crumble up a little bit if you would, you'll get the individual strands of grass with the root. That's what we're basically doing. We're gonna be placing it, you know, all over the green, and we're just gonna let it grow in together, which would make it seamless.
Thank you.
Good explanation.
Yeah.
So that cost, go ahead, you wanna go over cost and what?
Yeah, so the two, the quotes, I believe we've got them in the back as well. Yes. The quotes for the Tip Eagle delivered and installed is $112,500. And the work for
Where are you
Fusion,
looking at, Jeremiah?
behind tab 2,
Tab 2?
yeah, toward, tab 2 will have, Dustin's recommendation, or his overview. And then behind that overview, you'll have the quote from Tritex Grass, which is for the sprigs,
Okay.
and the
This is
installation.
just sprig, not installed, this is just the actual price for the.
No, this is delivered and installed.
Okay.
It's delivered and installed.
Okay.
And then the next page is from Fusion Golf, very reputable, they've done a lot of work all over the country, for $96,000, and that is going to be for the strip sod, disposal, the rototill of the greens, and the machine and hand finish grading.
So when you add those two, that gives you the,
That gives you the 209 and change.
gotcha. So how many different companies will be working on the golf course during this process?
It'll be 2, including ourselves.
Okay. So these two companies that we're looking at, Fusion Golf and Tritex Grass, right?
Yeah, and obviously Dustin, from the Troon standpoint, you know, Dustin, the director of agronomy, he'll be down as well, be looking at the project. We'll also be putting in maintenance programs in place prior to, during construction, and then post-construction to make sure that we've already got the chemicals in place and everything that we need to start maintaining those greens.
Mr. Chair, can I say, make a comment here? So we have those two proposals. I think the important thing to look at right now is timing. It might be a good idea, JJ, to find out where that money is gonna come from to cover this, and how fast this board needs action today so that they can move forward with it. And I agree with them, because the timeline that they're looking at, everybody in the world is gonna be lined up to get that grass, and we don't wanna fall behind because of any red tape or anything like that might happen between now and then. So I would say that if it requires action from this committee right now, that the committee take the action so that the ball can start rolling. The only other thing on the amounts that you have the right of first refusal is thinking a little bit long term. I'm not sure if you were gonna get, let's say, the equivalent of, let's say, 2 pallets, and you know you're gonna need one. I don't know, the recommendation is to have the other one, the second pallet available, on the job site or already reserved at their lot, so that given any emergency, any unforeseen problems, that it's readily available for us to purchase. And the reason for that is because, we don't know what the summer's gonna look like. We don't know what any other thing that might happen. It wouldn't look good if we spent this money and then things didn't work out the way we wanted to, and then we have to wait until the following season to get back in line again, in other words. So I'm not sure if that's what you were saying about the right of first refusal on the second pallet, or is it on the?
No, so
Or overall?
what we did was, between the sprigs and the sod, we turned around and we told Tritex, hey, we want both. So they're like, okay, we're gonna put you on the board.
Yeah.
So, depending on what direction we went, whether we were going to patch, which it's not on here, that's not an option.
Yeah.
We had sod available to us. With that said, we were already in line for the sprigs.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So, in other words, if somebody came in and said, hey, I need 150,000 square feet of sprigs of Tiff Eagle, oh yeah, well, no, I can't sell it to you because that's for the max.
Yeah.
Like, that's ours.
They're only requiring a deposit of 28,125 before March 15th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll begin the work, and then after they finish, they get paid, right?
Yeah, we'll set it up in draws, but obviously, that'll be the deposit, and we'll send in, as the scope of work goes, but yes, that's.
Update on, so, since we met last week with them, I think it was last Thursday, we
Mhm.
met, right? Yes. A week ago. Assuming that the committee would approve this and will tell us to move forward, I kinda got the ball rolling already. I visited with my higher ups, my city manager office, and the biggest size, okay, was 210,000. But I put it to them, like Jeremiah said, look, this came out cheap.
Yeah.
This is from 1.1 million to 210,000 is, I don't want to say it's a drop in the bucket, but we thought it was gonna be worse. I don't know, when I sat down with city managers on Monday, and Mr. Ned was, okay, well, that sounds like reasonable. I went down now, and then from there I went with Ms. Cabello, which is the financial officer, she's the deputy manager in charge of finance. And she said it was doable. It's so, I did say that we have to give a 25% down. We have to take it to council, okay? March the 18th, but we're trying to work to where we can get the deposit before, and then ratify it when we go to council on March 18th, that we already took, it's 210, but 28,000 and change was already under for that. Now, I'm gonna be very honest with you, what I have not touched, and Tony, I was just thinking about that right
Yeah,
now,
I was gonna tell you about that.
the procurement process.
Oh.
What were you thinking?
No, I was telling you about the other account that we have.
Yes.
The 2% account, that in case this is gonna be prolonged, that you might be able to tap into that account
To get the
and
25%.
get the 25% and then
Right.
reimburse it with that. That
Right.
way-
Finish it later.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, we talked about that as well.
Great. Definitely.
So I think, so the ball's already been in motion, the only thing I need to go next door here with Mr. Valdapes when we're done here. And say, okay, Jeremiah, you have to come with me to explain to him, this is a sole source kind of deal. Like this is not anybody, Yard Art or any other guys are gonna come do this. This is a professional service that needs to get done, and to see, we make sure we don't go, we do make sure we're okay with the procurement process. Okay? That I have not touched, but right now, as soon as we're done here, his office is right next, behind that wall. And we'll go touch base with him on that. But I think on the other end, as far as management, they're all for it. I think we found the funding. I don't know exactly from where, but.
They've done it in the past somewhere else, this process,
Hmm? Yes,
and it works, it's a sure thing, right?
it's a sure thing.
Okay.
You know, you'll, we're not gonna call it 100%, but you'll get 99% growth.
Well,
Yeah.
if it is 99%.
Yeah, you know, you might have a small spot here or there, but it's not like half of the grass on the green's gonna grow and the other half isn't.
Not like they were last summer.
No, not at all. And then we're also looking at to see, there's a sod farm, there's a small green there by maintenance. And then obviously we'll start using some of that sprig material to, yeah, so we'll have our own farm.
There you go.
We'll have our own green grass farm.
Yeah.
So on those little issues, you just cut out the little piece you need, you go and you put it out there, you know, just looking forward. I mean, those are always best practices.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jeremiah, I think I missed that. Did you say that you were gonna have an extra green? Is it the practice putting green that we're talking about?
No,
Like
well,
you see
and that-
now, or is it a separate one that you're planning on?
Your practice putting green's always like, that's your kind of like last resort if you got a pull there,
Okay.
but there's a small green, if you would, by
Back in-
maintenance.
Oh,
Number
okay,
13.
okay.
Yeah.
Right there.
I haven't even
Behind
seen
the-
it.
the-
Behind
Yeah.
number three.
Behind the barn.
It's right by the
Okay.
barn.
But it'll not, I mean, you prep that and you always wanna have a little bit of grass.
That has always been, you know, we've been saying that since we started to have our own little area in there, so we can kind of tap into it on an emergency basis. So
Yeah, but-
I'm glad you guys are doing that now.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that saves us in the long run. Obviously, y'all can appreciate, what freight would be, you know, if you had to truck some of the, you know, sod, those pallets of sod in, and that's kind of why it gets extremely pricey when you bring in those sheets of grass, if you will. When you can grow your own grass, it's great, and then obviously we're gonna try, to commandeer some of the green grass that's healthy, and then use it on parts of the golf course, some of the bare areas next to the cart path.
Yeah.
You know, we'll try and use some of that.
Who's the greenkeeper now?
John Taylor?
Okay.
But he's under the watch of, Mr. Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
The agronomist from Troon, so he followed all the plans from,
Okay.
all the, from the Troon.
Yeah, we you know, we've got a really good structure there. The head superintendent at La Cantera, he's also been down, Dustin, so we'll have multiple layers of support through the project. And not only will we have on site, if, you know, we've got an issue, you know, we can have him come down, and obviously Dustin will be coming down as well.
Yeah.
Has artificial turf ever been considered? I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm sure you could, when you start to look at what artificial turf would cost you per square foot, yeah, I mean, even if you resodded a green, it would cost you way more than $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably selling you really good artificial turf at $7, $8.
Well, let me put it this way, the Shirley Field cost us, 3.9, and that's one football
And
field.
that's not even half of.
Yeah, you're looking at 150,000 square feet, so, I mean, whatever the football field would be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
around
or,
there.
no, yeah,
150.
little under 2 acres of, you got greens and collards, I mean, we're looking at 150,000 square feet, but you're actually putting surfaces, and like that, 2+ acres.
And that includes the putting green, you know, we do the putting green?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we wanna make sure that that's
I think it's 4 acres. huh?
The practice
a
green.
little under 4, we got.
Yeah, somewhere in there, 4 acres, somewhere in there.
And obviously, it's a plus. I mean, you look at it, you never wanna I mean, these projects, they sometimes they've gotta happen, but gives you an opportunity to get the greens back to the original size. I mean, you take advantage of the opportunity that's being presented to you, you look at that one. You know, it's not just gonna rip them out, let's do it the right way, let's get everything done. Let's get them back to where they used to be.
So if the committee approves, and which we gotta do right now, gentlemen, we gotta vote on with
Yeah.
your recommendation. And everything goes through, the timeline is, you're looking to start at the end of May, early June,
Yes.
right?
Once we get all those deposits, what we'll do is, I mean, I got off the phone with Fusion this morning, because I know that Ms. Stanley is working on some stuff. Both Tritex and Fusion Golf are on the buy board, so I don't know, we'll see what that.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah,
You just-
they're both on the
That
buy
just
board.
got better.
Yeah, so, yeah.
That's
So that helps, yeah.
Okay.
The plus and the minuses, you know, obviously sometimes the city price through the buy board is more than what our pricing at Troon is.
Okay.
But obviously we've got Troon pricing extended to us, so we're gonna take advantage of that.
Right.
I mean, so there's additional cost savings.
Right.
When we get to, not changing the subject, but when we get to the conversation of machinery, you know, we've already done the due diligence to show that, okay, a tractor, for argument's sake, is, you know, it's $50,000 MSRP, city buy board price is $45,000, and true pricing is $40,000. So, you know, we can outline those pricings to show, you know, and then.
The
pick and choose.
savings.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the next conversation of the meeting, because we didn't get to put it in the agenda this time. Is equipment, and we'll talk about that here in just a bit, because we're gonna spend all this money to put in, but you're only as good as your equipment that takes care of it, you know, and I think that's gonna be enough, that's a separate conversation, but we won't jump into that yet.
right.
But to finish it up before we do the vote, so we make sure everybody's clear.
Do them all at one time?
Yeah.
Not front 9 and back 9, no, all of them. So you're gonna have a lot of people working there.
The faster we can get them done, the faster we can get them up. I mean, I've been involved in other projects where the 9 and 9 and the 6, 6 and 6.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, you know, it's
Okay.
just easier. Just
Get it done.
rip off the Band-Aid, get it done. It's just easier.
And I would imagine, Jeremiah, that it's gonna be less expensive for the city to do it all at once.
It is. You know, a lot of these companies, you know, they charge you mobilization.
Yeah.
You know, so when they gotta go and come, I mean, depending on
That's a startup and mobilization.
yeah. I mean, I mean,
What do they have as their estimated,
Fusion Golf's charging you, what is that, $8,000, $8,600 in mobilization, so if they had to come back 2 or possibly 3 times, I mean, that's $24,000, $25,000.
so they only have one startup and mobilization on their quote?
Mhm.
Okay, so very important that they tell you that right off the bat, because and everybody knows, because if they have to bring them back a second time, that's when it can add up.
Right.
And, but I was gonna say, I don't know if it shows in there, to do 18 holes, I'm imagining it's gonna take, the whole 3-month period to redo.
No, so Fusion, you know, they're on their timelines, for argument's sake, we'll call it, say 30 days to get everything done. It's gonna be the 60, 90 plus days of the grow in.
Oh.
You know, that's what's gonna take us
We're
time.
taking care of the baby.
Yes, exactly.
But the actual work is about 30 to 45 days.
Yeah. I mean, cause once they get going, I mean, it's, you know, rip out 1, they get to 2, they get to 3, you know, and then once they're pretty far down the road, you know, your second crew comes in behind them and they're just kind of sculpting as they go. You wanna get everything kind of prepped, and then as soon as they're finished, you flip the switch, Tritex comes in and, I mean, you knock it out. I mean, you should be able to spring that golf course in, call it a week, 10 days.
I got a couple of questions, Jeremiah. Number one is, I know that we talked about doing all the 18 greens at once. Does that include the practice putting green and the maintenance green as well? They'll be done at the same time, or will those be done?
No, that'll be done at the same time.
Todo junto? Okay. The second question I have is, obviously, there's gonna be a whole bunch of machinery moving around, heavy equipment moving sod around or sand, whatever it is that is needed. As far as damage to the golf course, will that be taken care of? Is that also included in this price, or is that gonna be separate? Is that something that is not normally expected?
Will
Why don't
there
you talk a
be
little
any
bit about that, if you could?
collateral damage to
Everyone will tell you there's not, but there always is, right?
Right.
So the good part is you've got concrete cart paths and they're 6 foot plus wide. So it's easy to get machinery out there. You're not just driving it down the middle of the fairway.
Right.
That's always a plus. You know, and anytime anybody's thinking about putting cart paths in, you know, you wanna do concrete instead of asphalt. You wanna make sure that they're at least as wide as your widest machine, right? Or wider than your widest machine. Just so you don't have that turf compression. Will there be some? Yes, but nothing, you fill that in with sand. I mean, it's not like, you know, the slope on 18 on the side of the hill that's gonna go away because it's, you know, you're gonna have tire marks, tire ruts, but you just fill that in with sand.
Okay, good question, we think about that.
and the irrigation is working properly, fine, everything?
Yeah, the irrigation is good. We've been working with City IT, and we're gonna upgrade the internet out there to make sure that we've got a more secure connection, so that we ensure that the irrigation system's always communicating, and there's no, you know, when you have to start turning on irrigation manually, it's a chore. Just because it's in zones, so you need someone out there, your manpower starts to go up, your cost goes up. But we're gonna be good.
One other point, Jay, is the, because now that we're just started thinking about, some of the traps that are not, where, let's say, where we'd like it to be. I know there's some that we got filled in and stuff like that, but you got the one in number 9, that's still, you can still see the draping that they put back then. I'm not sure if, going a second time through the process of purchasing or fixing it, I don't know if we can tie in the fixing of those things, whatever the cost. I don't think that thing's gonna be minimal, you know, to tie it in with this PO maybe that you're getting, so that you can get the traps ready to go also. But I'm not sure that you can do that in-house, or with this, it's gonna take somebody to, because I don't have
I think it's gonna be different company, no, doing this.
Well, I mean, Fusion can definitely do bunker sculpting and so on. Typically, if you maintain your bunkers well, the only thing that you're gonna be replacing is the sand that's in there. The good thing is that these bunkers are lined, and the drainage works well. It's when those drains get plugged up and, you know, you've got 4 foot or 3 foot of standing water in those bunkers that, you know, it's a big dollar expense, you know, 'cause you gotta start digging everything out. I think that's something we can do in-house. We started some best practices out there. You'll probably see it, you'd notice it, because you frequent.
The compaction is good at number 11.
You think he's frequent in the sands, or you're frequent out there?
No. Like, so what we're doing is, you know, there's different ways to mow a golf course. So what we've done is we're taking down, you know, you've got the 2-inch rough, we're going to a collar to the rough, and then you'll have the actual fairway. So you're gonna start to see a lot more definition on how the golf course is. With that, it's easier, it's gonna help us maintain the roughs better, which happens to be where the bunkers are.
Right.
So the sculpting or trimming of the bunkers,
Is
the
that-
weed eating of the bunkers is
Okay.
less. So in-house, you should see it getting a lot
Yeah,
better.
no, I figured if there was gonna be an expense to do that, it might be a good idea to tie it into this, so that you don't have to go to council to ask them twice. You know?
I'm with you, I mean,
But I don't know if it can be done in-house and.
If we can get you the material only, we can tap into those
well, I think right now,
50,000-60,000.
we've got the purveyor with Sand Company.
Mhm.
And, I mean, we filled in 11, it looked unbelievable.
It does.
You know, I mean, that was night and day. You know, so I think it's just little things like that. And we're not gonna call it downtime, but with the renovation of the greens, it's gonna allow us to, you know, send some manpower to other parts of the course that need it.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Any other questions? I mean, we have to put it up for, Mr. Vice Chair, you have to put up for a vote to see we follow the recommendation of True to go with this route. If you can make a vote so we can put it for our records.
All right, well, I move to call a vote for the Truan's recommendation of 210,000. All those in favor say aye.
You need a first.
Okay, somebody needs to vote.
Yeah,
One
motion.
motion.
You need a second.
Second. All right, motion passes.
Call for the vote.
Right,
All
so
five?
We'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Enjoy. Yep. Okay, perfect.
So it proceeds.
Okay, we'll, we got the ball rolling already, I think, right? So we're gonna, I know, like I said, it's time sensitive, so it's already, ball is rolling on this, so hopefully next month, we'll meet and then we'll give an update where we stand with that. But I'm gonna ask you this, members of the committee, please talk to your council members, okay? Because this is going to council. This is going to council. They have to approve the expenditures. It's over, you know, it's 209,000. So sometimes, how come up, but you know, they don't know, they're not in this meeting, that's why you all are here. So you're the representation to explain to them what's going on. Just take about 5-10 minutes of your time and give them a call, if you can, please, to let them know what's coming down the road for forward, okay?
Claro que sí.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
All right, next thing on the food and beverage, just some updates. Jeremiah, you know, just kind of share with us.
Yeah, so on the food beverage, you know, we made some changes to the daily menu presentations, to elevate the experience. We'll continue to make changes to the current menu and expand breakfast offerings. You know, in behind tab 2, or tab 1, I'm sorry, the PowerPoint, you know, I guess we can kind of go through all of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take a look. But, so, a couple of things that we've done, and I guess a little off topic from the food and beverage, but kind of all ties in. We've created, obviously, there's True Rewards. When you walk in, there's a screen, has a QR code. That's basically gonna be a loyalty program for everybody that goes to the max. You know, they get points for every dollar that they spend out there, and then they can later on redeem those points for rounds of golf, not necessarily here, but in the True Rewards program. We also launched Shop the Max, or the Max Shop, if you would. There's also a QR code. We've got an online store. The QR code there, I'm not sure if your phone will pick it up now, but if you try it, it'll kick you in there. And we've got Max memorabilia, and it's we work with an off-site vendor. You know, somebody from out of town wants a Max golf shirt, they click online, they buy it, and it gets shipped directly to their house. You know, so we're taking advantage of that also. On the F&B and in the PowerPoint, you'll see some before and after. Again, we don't wanna, we'll just call that how we found it and where it's at. You'll see some pictures of the food presentation, you know, how before, I guess, you know, it kind of stayed in a to-go holding pattern after COVID. You know, everything was in to-go plates. We've enhanced that. I think when you go to lunch now, you see it in a basket. It looks nice. It's got the tissue paper. It's got the little fry basket. So the presentation makes you feel like you're in the 19th hole of the golf course having lunch. So again, we'll continue to do a lot of those things, and just make people want to eat and spend their time at the Max.
What are the hours of operation for food,
Right now, we're open till 5, but we're bringing in extra staff, so where the hour changes, you know, for sundowners and stuff, we'll be able to have the food later hours. The goal is to have earlier hours for breakfast in the morning, which we do on the weekends, but stay a little bit later for the guys that finish at, 4 or 5 o'clock, actually have some short order menus, but have something for them, yeah.
Something's good.
And the reception upstairs, you be having people?
We've been having a few events. Dr. Chamberlain from the city, they had an event out there. Everybody was, very, very happy. Looks a lot better. We're gonna have some issues there that we've gotta address. I think the flooring's coming up.
Yeah.
So it's gonna need some maintenance, a little bit of good housekeeping practices.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, I think we've got, we fixed a lot of the IT in there, so the speakers are working, it's clean. I have to look at new tables. The ones that were there were plastic, so it's a little tough when you're setting up buffet lines. Those plastic tables are gonna work on them. You get the wooden ones. But overall, I think the space that we've got to store all that, done right, you're gonna spend the money once every 10 years.
Yep.
Quick question on beverage card, do you have one or two?
We have one beverage cart. What we're doing, once we look at the maintenance package program, they sell these coolers that slide into the back of carryalls. Those are some of the carts that they'll use for maintenance, but you can utilize those carts on the weekends. We're looking at pricing those out, and then on the weekends we'll have 2 beverage carts, one on the front, one on the back.
It's gonna start getting harder, so people are gonna wanna start more liquor.
We've created some drink specials as well, and people are taking advantage of them. So I think it was just, we did a lot of little things, and hopefully we've done them right, and we wanna continue to do them right.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this up, just for the committee to understand this. You hear a lot about, well, there's tournaments at Casablanca, all the tournaments are going over there, and what's going on, how come we don't, we're losing money over here, but we don't have tournaments? And I'm gonna let Jeremiah, because I asked this question, I think I asked him just last week. We're actually doing good on Saturdays, and even though we don't have tournaments, but we got enough clientele, is that correct? That's making up for the expenditure that you would cost to hold the tournament. Does that make sense? If you can elaborate a little bit more, Jeremiah, on that?
Yeah.
I know you guys get asked this stuff.
Yeah, tournaments are obviously they're unique and they're special to the organization that's holding them. But from a good stewardship standpoint, with the conditions of the golf course having improved, we want to say with some of the specials, the food and so on, you come in and somebody wants to have a golf tournament on Saturday, you almost have to overprice it and say, look, well, if I close the golf course the entire Saturday, this is what I've got to charge you because this is what I'm making right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, even though you only close the golf course and they say it's from 8 to 2 or 3, nobody goes out there once they know that there's a golf tournament.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, we've been slammed. Everybody's booking tee times. Some of the things that we're looking at and we're working with technology is trying to figure out a way to limit the amount of tee times somebody can make, or B, if you want to make it online, that's fine, but prepay it. Because you lose one tee time. We have people calling, hey, we want a tee time. You can ask her.
Yeah.
Hey, I want a tee time at 8:20 on Saturday. Hey man, the next available tee time's at 11.
Right.
Which is a great thing. Being busy is a great problem to have, right?
So people are showing up.
People are showing up. We'll lose 1 or 2 groups from 7 to 11, but we've been approaching those groups and say, look, listen, I understand things were different, but in the future, if it happens again, then unfortunately, we're just not gonna let you make a tee time. You're gonna lose that privilege of making a tee time. Which is, I think,
I've been
fair.
trying to put one together for after 2 o'clock on Saturdays, because I know everybody wants to play early in the morning. But those guys, given the opportunity, I don't know if those guys have ever tried it. I know everybody wants to, like you said, everybody wants to play early, but 2 o'clock, you can sell it by telling them, you get rid of your wife and your kids and everybody go to work at home, and now you have the whole Saturday afternoon to do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to upsell what we do, but part of the reason from the binders is obviously everything will stay. Next month, everything you're seeing will be in the back of the binder, and there'll always be a running tab of things that we talked about, things that we said we're gonna do, so we can measure what has been done. With the technology that we have and we're utilizing, I was on the Zoom yesterday. We've already started doing matrices on the play history of the max and the times from the POS system, and they start creating like little bubbles, and they'll show you, hey, what you would think that, is it price driven? Do people want to go because there's a twilight? Your biggest bubble is everybody wants to play out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's not like, okay, you're charging, for argument's sake, $50 at 7 in the morning. You charge $10 in the afternoon. That bubble doesn't get any bigger.
No.
Everybody wants to play in the morning.
No, golf addicts, it's in the morning.
So, those are some of the tools that when we come back to the committee to make decisions, we'll actually have data behind the recommendations for those. That's the key. I'm not saying we don't want golf tournaments, but
No.
I think having closing every Saturday for a month may not be the best
Yeah,
option.
people think that the tournament, they make a lot of money, but it's not that. I mean, you might make a little bit more on the food or whatever, but on the golf course, you have to shrink your revenue.
Yeah, you make a good point on the golf side. If you're running 120 rounds on a Saturday, but somebody has a golf tournament of 90 people, well, those are 30 tee times that you lost. How much are you really gonna make up on that in food when you have, because obviously the structure that goes involved on the food and beverage side, not that we don't have a full-time staff for that, but a lot of that's gonna get outsourced. So you charge for those tacos, yes, but you've got an increase in your cost to be able to provide that service. And food is not gonna drive the needle like golf is.
Anything else?
Anything else? No, anything you all want for next agenda, for next meeting that you would like for the company to bring back?
Well, we're gonna talk about purchasing machinery.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah,
That's one item.
we kind of already started, in the back of those binders, I think it's tab 4. We've already started getting the quotes on the machinery. We're looking at Toro and John Deere. And we're looking at this is what you do need. This isn't a wish list, this is what you need to make the golf course run. And I know that we had talked about putting together a 5-year plan. This, in essence, really and truly is gonna be your 5-year plan. I think one of the best options on that we've put together is, it's a lease, yes, but it's a lease to own. So at the end of the term of the lease, I think the buyout's $1. City owns all of it. City owns it all. And then from there, as long as you maintain it well, there's some pieces that'll have extra life, there's some pieces that you're gonna trade in. But right now, companies are quoting you between 8 and 12 months delivery in some of these machines. So when we come back and say we talk about it next month, we're gonna see a big dollar amount, yes, but it doesn't mean that big dollar amount, say $1 million, it's not gonna hit you from at once.
All at once.
Yeah, we'll take delivery of, say, a third of it, month 1, whatever's available, and month 6.
So it'll be in the stages.
And it'll be in stages, and you can break it up, I mean, that in there also has your tractors. Your tractors, they're gonna have a longer lifespan than the 5-year lease.
Correct.
But we've broken it up to where it's probably the same or less than what you've paid in the past for leasing the equipment, but this is a lease to buy. So there's a huge advantage there.
So the bubble at the end is just $1.
If that, sometimes they just hear the keys.
And again, a little bit of history for the new members. The old company, the previous management company, leased it out to the city. So we were paying a lease, and again, I wasn't here. So, and Jeremy, kind of feel me, make sure I say this right. So they were leasing to the city their equipment, their tractors and all that. Once the city said, we're not gonna go with you anymore, then we had to buy the equipment from them, or we were not gonna have anything to cut other than your house lawnmower,
Wow.
any equipment.
Was more than $1?
What's that?
Was it more than $1?
So they had us hostage, so to say, that we were gonna maintain the vehicle. We had to buy the equipment for, what was the total?
About 200,000.
250,000 around there. About 247.
Mhm.
247,000. We had to buy old equipment. For in other words, they had
To keep
as a
it
buyout
going.
to keep it going.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
So that's what we have right now. That's what we have right now at the court.
Yeah, if you use that number of 250,000, we'll call that 1 year's worth of payments. I mean, and you break that up, $1 million worth of equipment. And in 4 years, you're hitting $1 million. I mean, we're looking this at 60 months. We're trying to get the payment down. And again, you want to be a good steward. I mean, it should belong to the city. It's city's equipment. We're happy to maintain it. The warranties involved, the companies come down and they maintain them for you pretty much. You just gotta let them know when they need it. But that's also key.
Okay. All right, if we can also select the date, confirm the meeting, the date for next meeting. Let's see, look at our calendar. I know next month is.
Twenty-first?
21st, that's spring break, is it?
No, that's after spring break.
Okay. March 21st? Everybody good with that?
March 21st?
Thursday.
31st?
20.
21st. We gotta make a motion for that.
That's only 3 weeks away, just saying.
It is? Oh, yeah, 'cause we were late on this one.
Not that it matters to me anyways, I'm just stating it.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so,
it'll be after the meeting.
The meeting's on the
It's
18th.
like on the 18th.
why don't we move it to the 28th? If that's okay with you.
The 28th works okay with everybody?
Can these meetings be virtual if in case we are called to go out of town or something?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm okay.
okay. You wanna make the
Motion to approve for the next meeting to be held on March 28th at 12 noon.
First.
There's a second?
Second.
Motion carries.
Yes?
Did everybody get to vote?
Alright, all
Yes.
those. Well, we had a first and second, then we.
Then all in favor?
All in favor of having it on March 28th?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. If there's anything you all wanna talk about between now and then, please reach out to Ms. Laura Landin.
But is that a Semana
Okay,
Santa?
Coach, I just thought of something, I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay.
On the 28th, we
Semana
have
Santa.
an Easter event that evening, that afternoon,
Yeah.
4 to 7. I don't know if that matters.
Oh,
No.
that's-
Yeah, it
that's
has to be
Easter
a
week.
week before or
Oh, wait a
later.
minute,
That's
that's Easter weekend?
That's,
Yeah, this is
the
a week.
29th is Good Friday.
Oh,
I
sure.
won't be
29th is
here.
Good
I'll
Friday.
be
No, that's Easter week.
playing golf and
Okay, so
Por
let's,
eso veo.
I'm gonna be
Con
gone.
Rosario.
Let's go back to the motion. We got to retract that motion or vote.
Well,
If I'm not mistaken.
Have you played? I've never played that before.
I move to withdraw
yeah,
that.
last
Yes.
year I played it in.
We gotta move to withdraw,
Invited
gentlemen.
me
I'll
over
motion to
again.
withdraw the previous motion for the March 28th meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second that one.
Okay. All those in favor of withdrawing, say aye.
Aye.
Alright, and now I'll motion to have a meeting on March 21st at 12 noon.
I second that motion.
Alright, second. Alright, all those in favor?
Aye. So it will change to the 21st, right?
The 21st at 12 o'clock. We will meet back at the airport.
I have a question real
Yes, sir.
quick. Like, so essentially, I'm just trying to get a grasp of things
Okay.
and understand everything. So this is like a proposal that your company's making to purchase this equipment? Is that correct?
You're talking about the equipment itself?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's gonna be more in detail for the next meeting.
Yeah.
He just kinda threw that out there right now.
Oh, okay.
So next meeting, we'll have more of a breakdown as far as,
Like maybe what the max already has or what the city already has. versus what we need.
that's correct. Like, this is the urgent, we can get away with this for now, but this is what's urgent right now. And then, what's the next thing on? So he'll give us more of a recommendation, what needs to get purchased on the, in phases, I guess you wanna call it.
Yeah, understood.
Okay? Okay, so we got next meeting to adjourn? Make a motion to adjourn, sir?
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
I second that motion.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you all.
Good job, bro.